The more I learned about managing my own finances, the more I realized how many people around me were falling into money traps they didn't even know existed. And because I cared about them, it honestly bothered me because I had to sit there and watch it happen over and over again. And it doesn't matter what income level you're at. Chances are you or someone you know has fallen into these traps. And what's scary is that one of these traps feels completely normal. So normal that most people don't even realize it's quietly keeping them stuck. So I made this video to break down the 7 biggest money traps that quietly keep people from making progress, even though they're working hard, earning decent money, and doing everything right. And more importantly, I'll show you exactly how to avoid them starting today. I'm Ernest and I came to the US as an immigrant 11 years ago with no money in my pocket and started working as a housekeeper, a cook, and in retail making $8 an hour. Then I joined the Air Force and that's where I discovered personal finance and real estate. Today, I personally own a multi-million-dollar rental portfolio, not because I was smarter, worked harder, or earned more than everyone else, but because I learned how money actually works and stopped making these mistakes. And on this channel, I share simple and practical strategies for personal finance, investing, and building wealth, especially if you're starting from zero like I did. Today, we're breaking down the 7 biggest money traps keeping most people broke and how to avoid them so you can achieve financial freedom. So let's dive in. Trap number 1, lifestyle creep. The one that feels completely normal but quietly keeps people stuck no matter how much or where they earn. This is a money trap that you may not even know exists. So before we can talk about it, let us first define what it is. So lifestyle creep is simply allowing your expenses to grow every time your income grows. And these are some of the most common examples I can think of. Say you get a bonus, then you upgrade your car. Or you get a raise, and then you buy a new house or upgrade your apartment. Or you can get a promotion, and then you level up your vacations, where you eat, and the brands you buy when you go shopping. So I'm curious, looking back, have you or anyone you know been guilty of this trap? Personally, I know how easy it is to fall into this trap. I admit, I sometimes do this myself because you want to be able to enjoy the hard work that you put in and spoil yourself a little bit, right? It is especially easy to fall into this trap nowadays because of social media. We are more exposed to what other people have and what they're spending their money on, without even taking a second to think if we actually need to make the purchase or not. I actually remember when I was younger and I was making less money, I was very conscious about where I ate and how much I ordered when I went to go eat at a restaurant. And honestly, I even remember not buying a bottle of water even when I was thirsty because I figured I can just have some water when I get home. And I know, that may be a little extreme, but that's how much I was conscious about where I would spend my money. But now that I am earning more and have built some assets, I allow myself to enjoy life a little bit more. I order what I want when I go out to eat, while still being aware of the prices but not limiting myself as much anymore. Because what is the point of working hard if you're not able to enjoy life, right? So I am absolutely not saying that you shouldn't enjoy life if you earn more income. What I'm saying is that when you do, be more disciplined about it. Again, the key here is discipline. If you feel the need to reward yourself and celebrate a milestone in your life like getting a raise or a promotion, don't just go ahead and buy a new car or a new house. Yes, I said a new car or a new house because people typically go into debt to buy those things. And since you are going into debt, they will set you back financially. Think about it. While I am happy for you that you got a raise or received a promotion, I highly recommend that you don't go canceling out that increase in income by buying something that will also increase your expenses for years, or in the case of a house, even decades. Instead, think of a way to reward yourself that isn't going to set you back financially. Instead of buying a new car or a new house, maybe go on vacation for you and your family. Make memories that'll last a lifetime and not debt that'll cost you a fortune. Okay, that sounded pretty good to me, so let me say that again. Make memories that'll last a lifetime and not debt that'll cost you a fortune. If you really need to buy a new house or get a new apartment, make sure that the increase in the monthly payment for that new house is not the same as your increase in income. So say for example, you get a raise for $1,000 a month. Don't go finding an apartment that'll cost you $1,000 more. Maybe find something that is worth $300 to $500 more a month. So that way, you can save and invest the remaining $500 and get the best of both worlds. You are able to enjoy your hard work, but not necessarily sacrificing your financial future. And this concept goes for every purchase. The rule is simple. When your income increases, that's your opportunity to get ahead, not an invitation for your expenses to chase it down and catch up. So what do you think? Is that more doable? Let me know in the comments below. Trap number 2, high interest credit card debt. Credit card interest today is brutal. The average interest is over 20%, and many cards are even 27 to 30%. At those rates, your $1,000 debt can easily become $1,200, then $1,400, and it just never stops. Keep this in mind. If you don't pay off your credit card every month, your bank is building wealth, not you. What should you do? Well, if you don't have any credit card debt, that's amazing. Keep it up. Make sure that you don't go into debt for anything unless you absolutely need to. I'm not saying don't take a vacation or buy that new item that you want. I'm simply saying don't go into debt for it. If you can't afford it today with the money you have currently saved, just wait a little bit and save more so that you can afford it without having to go into debt. It's that simple. Alright, so maybe you're asking, what if you have acquired debt? This is the roadmap into getting yourself out of that hole. And it's called the debt avalanche method. Step number 1, list all your credit card debt you have, including the interest rate for each one. Step number 2, sort the list from highest interest rates to lowest. Notice that we're sorting them based on interest rate and not on the amount you owe. Step number 3, prioritize paying off your debt, viciously attacking the ones on the top first and then working your way down the list. If you do this consistently, you will get out of credit card debt faster than you expect. And here's the best part. Every monthly payment you eliminate frees up more of your cash, which makes paying off the next one on the list even easier. And that's why it's called the debt avalanche method. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. Come up with a plan and stick to it. Destroy the high interest debt first and you'll feel your financial stress start to disappear 1 month at a time. Trap number 3. The buy now, pay later companies have become really famous in the last few years. So again, before we keep talking about this, and although I'm sure you've seen them whenever you try to buy something, let's talk about how buy now, pay later schemes really work so we're all on the same page. So on the surface, they look amazing. You see something you want, click a button, and boom, pay just $25 today. And it feels like you're getting a deal. Here's what's actually happening behind the scenes. Buy now, pay later companies make it really easy for you to buy something today because they know one thing. People spend way more money when they don't have to pay for the whole thing up front. They split the payment into 4 chunks or stretch it over a few months, which does seem harmless, right? And if you pay on time every single time, sure, sometimes it's technically 0% interest. But here's the trap most people don't realize. If you're even 1 day late in making a payment, boom, fees. Miss again? More fees. Choose the longer monthly plan. Now you're looking at 15 to 36% interest, which is basically credit card territory. And you know what the worst part is? Most people don't use buy now, pay later schemes for one purchase. They stack them. So now you're making payments on shoes, a phone, a flight, holiday gifts, furniture, all at the same time. You're practically going into debt for your whole lifestyle. Suddenly, you've got 5 different mini loans hitting your bank account every 2 weeks. And it doesn't feel like debt, but it is debt. It's just packaged in a way that looks friendly and harmless. So the real business model for buy now, pay later schemes is simple. They get stores more sales, and then the stores pay buy now, pay later companies for a fee, and then you often end up spending more than you planned. And sometimes, even paying interest or late fees on top. That's why these companies are exploding. They are not doing you a favor. They're doing what's profitable. So if you're going to use buy now, pay later schemes, be honest with yourself. If you can't afford the full price today, you probably can't afford the payment plan either. I would simply encourage you to avoid these schemes like a freaking plague. And as bad as buy now, pay later schemes are, they are actually just one symptom of a bigger problem that we're going to talk about next. The consumer mindset from total cost thinking to payment thinking. Trap number 4, payment mentality versus total cost mentality. We don't just buy things anymore. We finance everything. Think about it. Buying new furniture, monthly payments. Want that new iPhone? Again, monthly payments. Want that new car you saw on the road or on the ad? 100% payments. Even gym memberships and subscription to streaming services like Netflix and Hulu are basically payments. And here's the crazy part. Most people don't think about the total cost of the thing that they're trying to buy. Instead, they ask themselves, can I afford the monthly payment? And that single question is what keeps millions of people broke. Because here's what happens. If something costs $1,200 and the guy says it's only $30 a month, suddenly it feels cheap. But nothing changed, it's still $1,200. They just rearranged the number so it feels smaller. And once you start thinking in monthly payments, your entire life shifts that way. You get a raise? Great. Now you qualify for bigger payments. A nicer car, a nicer phone, or a nicer couch. Your income goes up, but so do your payments. and your journey to financial freedom gets farther and farther away. And so this is why so many people feel like they're always busy, always working, but never getting ahead. Because they're not paying for things once. They're paying for things forever. And the fix is simple, but almost no one does it. Always calculate the total cost before you agree to any payment plan. Ask yourself, am I okay paying the full amount? And if not, why am I willing to finance it? And keep in mind, if you finance it, you're even most likely going to pay more than just the total amount because you will have to pay for the interest of the amount you're borrowing. Look, I'm not saying you should never finance anything. Because say for example, you do need to buy a new car. It would be unrealistic for me to tell you to save thousands or tens of thousands of dollars before you buy one. But the second you switch to total cost thinking, you'll notice something. You naturally buy less junk. You naturally save more money. And you naturally start feeling less stressed about your finances. And this is how you break the cycle. Not by doing something extreme, but by being aware of the true cost of every purchase before you say yes. Trap number 5, having no emergency fund. So more than half of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency. And honestly, I feel like we've all been there at some point in our lives, so I'm definitely not judging here. I personally have been there, so I know how it feels. But let's just think about that for a second. A single unexpected bill like a flat tire, a broken phone, or a surprise medical visit can completely derail someone's finances. And there's more to this than just having savings. It's about stability. I know the mental stress it causes of looking at your bank account and just in your heart, you're not in a good financial spot if something happens. So you just hope and pray nothing happens that you can cover. Because if you don't have an emergency fund, here's what happens. A flat tire isn't just a flat tire. It becomes credit card debt. A small medical bill turns into a financial crisis. And a job loss, that becomes a full-blown disaster because now you're scrambling just to survive. All that is stressful. So what's the fix? Start small. Start with a $1,000 emergency fund. That's it. Don't overthink it and don't feel bad if it takes time. And don't compare yourself to anyone else. Once that's in place, work your way towards 3 months of expenses. And it doesn't have to happen fast. You just have to start. And trust me, the first time something goes wrong and you don't have to panic, you'll realize how life-changing that little cushion really is. Trap number 6, not investing early. Alright, so most people say they'll start investing when things calm down or when the market looks better. But let's be honest, things never really calm down. There's always something, right? A car repair, a birthday coming up, a vacation you want to take, back to school season, the holidays, and even a new phone you need. And every single time, we try to convince ourselves. Maybe we say, I'll start investing after this month, or maybe I'll start when I have the money for it, or maybe I'll start when the market isn't so crazy. Does that sound familiar to you? But here's the problem. Every month or year you wait, it's time you lose in compounding to building wealth. So there's a famous saying by Albert Einstein. Compounding interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it. But let me make this real for you. If you invest $100 a week in the stock market at age 25, you can actually end up with about $1.3 million by age 65. But if you wait just 10 years, maybe because life felt too busy or too expensive, and you start at 35, the same $100 a week will only amount to a little less than $600,000. Think about that for a second. $1.3 million if you start at 25, compared to $600,000 if you start at 35. I don't know about you, but that to me is motivation enough and gives me the sense of urgency to start investing sooner rather than later. And yeah, maybe you're not in the position to invest $100 a week. That's okay. What can you start with? Can you maybe start with $100 a month? Or maybe $50 a month? Start where you can and slowly build that investing muscle. It's like working out. When you get into the habit of working out regularly, you can't stop. It just doesn't feel right if you miss a workout and you feel like you need to make up for that missed workout. You actually crave working out, and it's a very similar feeling when it comes to investing. Once you get into the habit of consistently investing and form your new identity in your mind that you are an investor, it will be difficult for you to stop investing. It just won't feel right. And again, you don't need to be perfect, and you definitely don't need to be rich. You just need to start investing. Because the moment you take that first step, no matter how small, you're no longer just becoming an investor. You're now building generational wealth. All right, so let's move on to the last trap. Trap number 7, overspending on cars. Car payments today are insane. Like seriously, when you look at the numbers, it's almost unbelievable. The average new car payment is now over $750 a month. And even for a used car, it's still over $550 a month. And that's before you add insurance, which has gone absolutely crazy in the last few years. And here's what makes it even worse. Most people aren't financing for 36 to 48 months anymore. They're actually signing up for 72 to 84 months, which is basically 7 to 8 years of payments. That's almost a decade. A decade of your life tied to paying off just one car. But here's the real problem with all this. A car immediately drops in value after you buy it. Once you drive it off the lot, the car loses its value in thousands of dollars. Meanwhile, your payments stay exactly the same. And it's not just the monthly payment. It's everything else that gets expensive. Because the more expensive the car is, the more expensive it is to own. Parts, maintenance and repairs, and even insurance cost more. Alright, so here's an example. Let's say you buy a Honda Civic. An oil change might cost you about $40 to $60. New set of tires may cost you about $400 to $600 for the full set. Now compare that to something like a BMW or a Mercedes. That oil change is now $150 to $250, and sometimes even more. And a new set of tires is now $1,200 to $1,800 depending on the model. And if something breaks, it is never a $200 repair. It's usually about $800 to $1,200, even maybe coming up to $2,000. So the problem isn't just the $750 payment. It's the $750 payment plus the higher insurance, plus the higher maintenance, plus the higher repair costs. It all adds up fast. And the sad thing is that a lot of people don't even realize how much their car is holding them back financially and avoid long loan terms. And that's why the fix is simple. Buy used, buy reliable, and avoid long loan terms. A reasonable car, something solid, dependable, and affordable can actually help you move forward financially. I personally drive a 2016 Toyota RAV4 that I've owned for 7 years. And honestly, sometimes I do get the itch of buying a new car, but it's paid off and I don't think I've ever bought it to the shop to get it repaired besides routine maintenance like an oil change or replacing the brake pads. So when I get tempted to buy a new car, I remind myself why I shouldn't, even if I can afford it. Because if I get a new car, I am unnecessarily adding a car payment to my monthly expenses. And I just don't think about that $500 monthly car payment. I think about the future value of that $500 a month if I just invested it. And so in my personal life, I've also met people who buy cars as their status symbol to appear rich. And maybe you've met those same types of people too. And hey, if you can genuinely afford a luxury car without putting a strain on your budget, then great. Buy the nice car. There are a lot of wealthy people who drive nice cars, but that's just it. They drive the nice cars because they are wealthy and can easily afford it. If you're not at that point where you can comfortably afford an expensive car, then wait until you can. Because honestly, you're not impressing anyone. People around you will know that you're not in a financial situation to afford it. And you know what's really impressive? Making smart financial decisions. Once people notice that you are that type of person who makes smart financial decisions, people respect you more. And believe me, because I've done both. When I was younger in the military, bought a brand new Ford Mustang that at that time cost me about $600 a month just for the car payment, while my monthly income was $1,200 a month. Yes, I was that stereotypical military kid who drove a Mustang. But just think about that for a second. That's half of my monthly income just for my car payment. And that's not including gas, insurance, and maintenance. And on top of that, I had to replace my transmission a year into owning it. And to be honest, maybe I bought it for the attention, you know? I wanted people to see that I owned a cool car and think I'm cool too. And yeah, sure, maybe I did get a few compliments and it felt good in the moment. But was it worth working pretty much 2 weeks out of the month just so I can afford my car payment? I know my answer now, but you tell me in the comments, what do you think? And now that I am a little bit wiser, I drive a 2016 Toyota RAV4, but I own multiple rental properties and financially free. And I admit, it does feel good when I receive compliments about the rental properties. And you want to hear something crazy? People actually give me compliments for driving and sticking to my RAV4 because they know that even though I can afford a nicer car, I choose not to, and they know why. Finally, let me ask you this. Do you want to appear rich or do you want to actually be rich? Actual rich people don't try to impress people with material things like cars, gadgets, or the clothes that they wear. People are more impressed with your accomplishments, work ethic, and what you're doing for yourself, your family, your church, and the community. So I beg you, switch your mindset. If you're honest with yourself for a second and want to buy a nice car just to impress other people, There are much better ways of impressing them. And if you did that, you're not just getting ahead financially. You're actually becoming the kind of person that people respect, and for much better reasons. Okay, so let me make one thing clear here. The goal of this video was never to make you feel bad. It's to show you what's possible once you see the traps clearly. And I genuinely hope this helps. You're not behind, you're just becoming aware. And awareness is the first real step towards change. Avoid all of these traps, and even a year from now, your finances can look completely different. And if you want help going through your own numbers and building a simple plan to get out of these traps, I do offer a small number of one-on-one coaching spots. I'll drop a link in the description below if you want to see if it's a good fit for you. And if you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and check out my other videos. It would honestly be my honor to be part of your financial journey and to walk with you every step of the way. And as always, here's to your success. Keep moving forward, and I'll see you in the next video.